Programs. I'd just like to welcome you here this morning. I think this is a great gathering. It's actually a very impressive gathering. I've never been in this space before, so it's really interesting. I'd like to find out a little bit more about the history of this place. I just want to say that citizen science really is a very important part of what we all do here in the estuary. It's very important to the estuary program, to the EPA as well. A lot of times citizens are really sort of the eyes and ears of the estuary and really find things, and you know, it's the local citizens that care about their areas and you know, notice what's going on and are able to convey that and let people know what's going on. So I really think that's a very important part of what this effort is all about. We have a very impressive agenda for today, but right now I think what I'm just going to do is turn it over to Nicolette Witcher, yes, Vice President of Environment and Education here at the Hudson.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Try this. I'm pretty loud, so maybe I'll just keep it where it is. So welcome to Hudson River Park. A lot of you are from New Jersey. How many people from New Jersey? Oh, great. Excellent. Well, you know, so Hudson River Park is a 550-acre, about 5-mile waterfront redevelopment project here along the west side of Manhattan. We consider ourselves to be one of the city's first attempts at reclaiming its waterfront. There's a lot of other projects now, Brooklyn Bridge Park, Governor's Island, but definitely in terms of the planning and design of the city taking over its waterfront. Okay. Oh, we're going to get some feedback from that, so I think we need to turn it down. Yeah. Oh, it's going to blow. Okay, how about that? All right. So in terms of really having the city and city residents coming and to the waterfront, introducing them to the water, and really promoting awareness and understanding that, well, in New York's case here, we're an island, but even in New Jersey, that we're surrounded by water is almost like it's kind of a new appreciation, a new awareness. I think for many years, especially in New York, there was this idea of industry and the working waterfront, and we had an elevated highway, and the residents were really cut off from their waterfront, and we're now reclaiming our waterfront, enjoying our waterfront, using, you know, so many groups do here. We have 4 non-motorized boathouses in Hudson River Park. So we have kayakers and paddleboarders and rowboats and swimmers, and hopefully more swimmers if we can figure out this bacteria issue. So it's when New York, New Jersey Harbor Estuary Program asked for some space here at Pier 40 to hold this program. We were really excited to be part of it because bringing awareness and understanding of the water bodies is just so key to what we do here in the park. And it's just a very exciting topic. And to see so many people here today really interested in learning more about it and getting engaged is just thrilling to us. And for anyone that's just kind of starting out in environmental education about the waterfront, you know, we have a pretty robust program here at Hudson River Park. We have brochures in the back table. Carrie Roble, who will be talking in just a moment, is our Director of Environmental Education. So feel free to reach out to us. We host a lot of public programs all through the school year, all through the summer. And in the school year, we do field trips. In the summer, we also do summer camps. So we're really trying to interact with all different audiences about the waterfront, about what the issues are, what the water bodies are, what they're doing, what's going on. And you know, we love to share our resources, so feel free to get in touch with us. And I guess with that, I'm going to pass you over to Carrie. So she's going to tell you just a little bit. You're going to hear the rest of the day about water quality, about the pathogens that we're all trying to figure out a better solution to dealing with. And now Carrie's just going to start off by telling you a little bit about the baseline, about the estuary system that so many of you are going to be working with. So, Carrie?
Thank you and good morning. So again, I'm Carrie Roble and I'm the Director of Environmental Education and Stewardship with Hudson River Park. And I have the good fortune to design, implement, and evaluate environmental education programs, citizen science programs, and stewardship programs in Hudson River Park. So Nicolette pointed to a key objective of the trust being accessibility to our waterfront. She also highlighted another really important objective of our mandate, which is awareness. So as the Director of Environmental Education, I'm always informally and formally gauging people's awareness. I'm asking questions like, what is exactly an estuary? Or what wildlife lives in these waters? Or why is the water kind of this brownish green color? But there's always one question that we ask at the beginning and end of all of our estuary-focused programs, and that's, do you think the river is clean? So, humor me today. Do you think the river is clean? Can you raise your hand if you would say the Hudson River is a clean water body? On a sunny day or rainy day? No. Okay, and raise your hand if you would say the Hudson River is a dirty water body. Okay, so I saw some hesitation. A lot of people did not feel comfortable raising their hand. Saw some shifting eyes, some stirring in the seats. Well, this is a difficult question. It's not so black and white. But for a lot of students, this is interpreted as a very easy question. Students come to us and they initially think, ew, we're going to have to touch that water? This Hudson River is very dirty. So they'll quickly throw up their hand at dirty, and honestly, we get very few hands when we ask if the Hudson River is clean. So it's important as an educator to realize that our students are coming to us with knowledge, and sometimes misconceptions, however, about our natural resources and the river. So we appreciate that, but we won't have a goal of helping students see the progress that the Hudson River has made, to learn a lot about the wildlife that calls the river home, and then also to take home some action, some things that they can do as a resident of New York City to help protect and restore our local waters. As we all know, today we're going to focus on water quality monitoring and specifically looking at pathogens. But prior to that, I want to review some just Hudson River basics. So the Hudson River is 315 miles long from its source in the Adirondack Mountains, Lake Pier of the Clouds, to the New York, New Jersey harbor. Now the lower half of the Hudson River is a tidal estuary. So estuary is usually a really new word for a lot of our students that come to our programs, and therefore we like to break down this concept using a demonstration, which I'm going to show you guys today. So this demonstration is highlighting the two types of water that make up an estuary. So we have salt water coming from the Atlantic Ocean and fresh water coming from our source, Lake Pier of the Clouds. Now right now I have both fresh water on each side, and I need to make it salt water. So can I get a volunteer to help me make one of these sides salty? You're right in front, making eye contact. I love your help. Little did you know. No. So we are going to pour salt into one of the sides. Perfect. So if you could just pour for about 5 seconds salt into that side. Keep on going. You can be a little bit more generous. great. And a few drops of yellow to our fresh water. Awesome. Great. And I will mix that up. So again, we have the salt water and the fresh water. And I'm going to give it a good mix. Make sure I get the salt off to the bottom. Give this a good mix. Okay, so we have our two types of water still divided. I want you guys to make a prediction. When I open up this division, what do you think is going to happen? How will this fresh and salt water meet? Any ideas? So they're going to combine. Okay. Any other ideas? I'm sorry? They're stratified. Oh, right. So that's a big word. Usually the kids think it's going to turn green. Usually they can guess maybe we just added something to the salt, so perhaps there'll be a division in the actual waters, but let's see. Okay, so what are people in the front noticing? What about you?
The fresh water is lighter, so
Sure. So we have again this blue water on the bottom. That was our salt water, and it is actually denser. So density is what we're trying to highlight in this lesson, and therefore it's sitting on the bottom. We added these extra salt particles, making it heavier, and therefore it sunk to the bottom. We have some mixing in the middle, but the fresh water is largely on top. Now, is this actually what the Hudson River looks like? If we could see it in these nice colors of fresh and salt water? Well, not exactly. We have a lot of forces in the Hudson River that influence this stratification, so it's not quite as nicely divided as this demonstration shows. So typically what we talk to with kids is about these physical forces that really influence our system. So we have tides that are coming in. Again, this is a type of estuary. We have two highs and two low tides. They're coming in and they help to mix up the system. We have really strong currents, especially in this lower part of the Hudson estuary. And those currents are also helping to mix this fresh and salt water. And lastly, wind. Wind is another force that does indeed mix the water. So although there are at times more stratification than other times, our system is actually fairly mixed due to these physical forces. So now I've just brought up this concept of tides, and it's so important to talk about when teaching students about the Hudson River. Tides impact two things. One, total residence time. So how long a particular particle is actually in our system. This is especially important when we're talking about sources of pollution. And the Hudson River, due to, again, these physical forces, typically estimated to have a residence time of about 1 to 2 weeks in the lower Hudson River. Well, residence time influences the resiliency of the system, and so a lower residence time can help the system be more resilient over time. These physical forces, tides, currents, wind, and freshwater flow, they also impact something called turbidity, so how cloudy the water is. And this is just a concept that we hear all the time. Students are always pointing to the fact that the river is this brownish green as a sign of its poor health. This is a pretty common misconception and something that we're always teaching students about turbidity. So it's not exactly that the brown and greenish hue is a sign of its poor health. We have a lot of suspended solids in this system. The Hudson River is naturally quite turbid, and that's because it has a sediment bottom. We also are getting impacted by things like erosion. And lastly, due to all these physical forces, the sediments within the system are not easily settling, making it that brownish color. The green color, however, comes from things like detritus and phytoplankton, and the diversity and abundance of phytoplankton is often a great sign of the Hudson River's health. So, in addition to these physical points, we're also having students always test to chemical parameters. We like to look at pH and dissolved oxygen in particular. So we all took basic chemistry and know that pH is showing us how basic or acidic that the Hudson River system is. And I do have a quick poster. So aquatic animals, as a quick refresher, ideally like to live within a neutral zone. So this 6 to 8 zone is where our fish are the most happy and healthy, specifically as close to 7 as possible. When we go down, our system is becoming more acidic, and when we go up to 14 on our pH scale, our system is becoming more basic. So within the Hudson River, pH is largely influenced by stormwater runoff, specifically with acid rain, and waste like sewage waste, particularly from industrial sources. We're also always measuring dissolved oxygen, and dissolved oxygen is highlighting obviously how much oxygen is within our water body. So chemical pollution can influence and decrease dissolved oxygen. There's huge seasonal fluctuations within dissolved oxygen, with colder temperatures helping dissolved oxygen increase. Although there's seasonal fluctuations with both pH and dissolved oxygen, overall we have seen both of these chemical parameters really improve over the past decades. Specifically on a positive note, since the Clean Water Act that we're all familiar with the establishment of wastewater treatment plants, and last with the increase of green infrastructure, the Hudson River's health has really improved since the 70s. In fact, Hudson River Park, we've been testing water quality with students for the last 15 years, and we have seen within even that short span a great improvement and stabilization of many of these indicators. Today at Hudson River Park's Pier 84, we have a YSI instrument. We're working with Estuary, and we're actually measuring in real time and sharing real-time data on the Hudson River's water quality. All of these projects are helping to increase awareness. We're also working with New York City Water Trials and River Project to monitor bacteria and enterococci, which we'll talk far more about today. But we just value so much participating in these projects and, again, sharing these information with the public. So we're always looking for innovative ways to transfer this data into our lessons and into our outreach efforts so that people can digest it and then tell other people, like, wow, the Hudson River wasn't that clean today because we had a rain event, but actually, it, is a system that is improving. Web interfaces have played a huge role in terms of us reaching broader audiences. Both New York City Water Trails and our HR Ecos have great websites that are able to share this information and data readily. And also, obviously, this workshop is a great step in that direction. So Hudson River Park is really grateful to host, again, this workshop today, and we are very grateful that you guys organized it. So thank you.
First of all, thank you very much for being here. I hope that this workshop will be useful to you, and we hope to get your feedback and input to make better workshops in the future. I wanted to also thank our Citizens Advisory Committee who originated the idea for this workshop and helped with all the planning and organization of this event today. Also wanted to thank a lot of our other head partners that are not necessarily in the Citizens Advisory Committee, but also helped a lot making this event possible. And special thanks to Hudson River Park Trust for giving us this great space today. I wanted to point out, as you may have noticed, there's a couple of recordings going on, so you are aware. The New York University tape over there, that and I will be recording and posting these other resources so you can go back to these and you know, we'll keep it on our resources webpage, which hopefully you already had a look at. There's another recording. We have Dave O'Halloran from Elephant Films. He's working on a documentary on combined sewer overflows. So he's going to be recording some of the presentations and maybe doing some interviews with anybody willing to do that. But he also has release forms. Anybody that appears on film will be able to say yes or nay, whether you want to be there or not. If you have any concerns, please contact. So none of us are going to be filming the audience directly. We might be seeing like backs of heads or something like that, or maybe we'll be focusing on the presentations. But if you have any concerns, let us know. Also, I wanted to thank Rob Buchanan, who brought us coffee and donuts this morning. We have 2 coolers with water back there that you can use. There's going to be lunch coming later today. Another thing, if you need to use the restrooms, those are upstairs. You have to go up here, go through the red doors, then turn right and follow the corridor until you see the signs for the restrooms. I wanted to briefly mention some upcoming events that we are organizing, or some of our partners are organizing. We have flyers for all of these events on that table in the back, as well as other materials and resources that we hope will be of interest. So we have On Our Waters is an event focusing on the waters, how we relate to our waters, including fishing, eating fish, recreation, and stewardship. And this is coming up on October 19th. It's going to be Unique Garden Center in Midtown Manhattan. There's all the information back there. We thought that you might be interested in that. Then we have a restoration conference coming up with Kate, our habitat coordinator, is organizing that, and we have flyers back there, or you can contact her with more information. It's on October 28th, and it's going to be at the U.S. Custom House, the Museum of the American Indian in Lower Manhattan.
Registration has not opened yet.
Oh, registration is not. There's also the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has also a series of workshops and seminars on citizen science, and they have one coming up. I can't see the date right here, but the flyers is back there, and it's focused on protecting children's health and advancing environmental justice. And finally, there's in New Jersey at Stevens Institute on October 8th, there's a conference focused on public access along the Hudson waterway and all the challenges, you know, in keeping the structure, repairs after Sandy, who pays for that, how to make sure the public access is maintained. So make sure to check that the resources table back there. What else? Oh, I wanted to mention that hopefully I have everybody's email when you registered. I will be following up with an email after the conference with a link for feedback. I really hope that you will take a few minutes to tell us what you thought about this event, and especially what you would like to see in the future. You know, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to start a citizen science program? What do you need to learn? What tools do you think are lacking? Let us know anything and everything, or so we will either post resources online, or if we can do another event in the future, we will take all those in consideration. Also, you probably received an email from me giving you directions, and we have a certain amount of money to reimburse attendees for travel expenses. So the following will have also instructions about that, and just be aware that we will require you to fill the feedback form if you want to travel reimbursement. We'll be blackmailing you.